first off, first week of practice here, what's something that's already stood out, and how do you just like seeing those guys back on the field?
I think the familiarity with the guys has been terrific. You know, last year I was new and I was learning how they learned, how they practiced, what made those guys tick, and so having worked with everybody except for our young guy Grant in this group, we've been able to start way ahead of where we were a year ago. You know, they also know me, so they know what my expectations are. They know what makes me upset. They know what I'm looking for in drill work, and so even just setting up a drill is so much quicker and more seamless than a year ago.
I know you would probably like your veterans to be available to you in the spring, but at the same time, you get those young guys and get those valuable reps in. What do you look forward to seeing from these young guys, and what have you already seen?
Yeah, I'm a glass half full guy. So to me, it's exciting to be able to work with the young guys and know that, hey, we're going to need them. We're going to need them at some point in the year, and this development's going to be huge. What I've seen is guys who are eager to compete, guys who have done a really good job learning our offense and carrying over what they learned a year ago to the field, and guys who are open to coaching. You know, when I critique or I suggest, depending on different volumes, these guys are open to it, and they're not afraid to ask me questions and swing by the office and are really diving into spring football.
How is it seeing Drake now in your line again after, you know, obviously you recruited him to Stanford, now you're seeing him here in Virginia colors? Yeah,
so that's been a great reconnect. You know, I coached Drake for 2 years out there and really enjoyed working with him and thought he had a super bright future. And then when there was the opportunity to have that bright future be here at Virginia, it was great to be able to reconnect. And he brings in a veteran presence. He's played a bunch of football already. It just hasn't been here. And he worked with me for 2 years. So that transition was easy. You know, he didn't forget everything I coached him on, and he didn't forget everything that you know I was looking for, and he's been able to step in as an older guy, even though he's new in a leadership role.
Have you ever heard him play the bagpipes?
Oh yes, yeah, yes I have. He played the bagpipes in a team meeting for the talent contest at Stanford. So yes, I have.
I hope he won.
He did. Yeah, the O-line dominated. We had a magic trick in the bagpipes for the win. So.
My final question is that Noah Hartzell, he seems to have come to his own, coming in as a walk-on and cemented himself at the center position at number 2, seemed like a little bit. How much have you seen him grow and kind of take hold of that?
I mean, immense growth, incredible growth. And he's a kid that's just very purposeful in how he goes about things, how he works. He texts me every night a couple of questions about things, and sometimes I'm like, hey, stop thinking about that, or no, we're not doing that. But he's a kid that's just grown. He's reshaped his body. He's gotten bigger. He's gotten stronger. And then he's just playing with confidence that he didn't have. And that confidence is earned. You know, he's worked for it and he's earned it. And I'm excited for the opportunity that he's got this spring.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Hey, how are you?
How's it going?
Good. I'll ask you this: the versatility with Drake, right? He played some guard, he's played some center. Then the versatility with Gana, and how he bounced from tackle to guard last year. How valuable is that? And what do you envision for those two guys as being, you know, older guys around this spring?
Yeah. So there's a couple of attributes we really look for. The first is availability. You're healthy and you can go, and 2 is versatility. The more you can do, the more valuable you can be to the team. So I think being able to my goal as O-line coach is put our best 5 players out there. And if you got guys that can only play left guard and you're, you know, 2 of your top 5 are left guards, that's not good. So I want to keep guys moving around. I think it helps them to learn the offense and the other positions overall, and it challenges them. You never know when somebody's going to stub their toe or their shoe's going to come off and somebody's got to run in for a critical play.
With Gana, he kind of mentioned this spring as a second chance to show maybe he could get back in that starting lineup. Do you see that opportunity for him, and then what do you see from him in the early going this spring?
Absolutely. You know, this spring's there's a ton of opportunity out there, and it's about competition. And we didn't play well enough as an offensive line to say we're going to roll this unit out right now. We are far from naming starters. We've got a ton of competition amongst the guys that are going to show us who's going to go out on the field first in the opener. What was the second half of that question?
Just with you, Gana, what have you seen from him early going? He said he's playing some left guard this spring for you. What have you seen from him in the early going?
So we're trying to keep him at left guard a little bit. He's doing a great job. He's a kid that works really hard. It's important to him, and is a great teammate to the other guys on the line, and is a fun guy to coach. So effort's been awesome, and now it's tightening the screws. It's getting our hands tighter. It's getting our pads down. It's playing with a better base, and those are things that he comes in and watches extra tape and sees of himself, and now it's just building that muscle memory and playing the way we want him to play.
And then kind of a big picture question about the run game for you. You guys picked it up kind of midway through the season last year, the William Mary game, North Carolina game, Miami. You guys running the ball really well. What do you got to do to make sure those are consistent? Can you lay the groundwork in the spring so that come fall, you guys are running it how you want to run it and paving the way for those running backs?
Yeah, absolutely. They're in college football. There's no time to ramp up, right? So our goal is to have that success that we had in those games you mentioned right from the jump. So we've got to build off of last year, which is good, being able to have that experience, carry it into the spring, learn a bunch of lessons from our defense in the spring and how we want to do things better, take it into the summer, and then hit the ground running a lot quicker than we did a year ago. And I think the familiarity, bringing all these guys back, that should be our expectation. It's not us all running out in the opener for the first time together like it was last year.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Anything from anyone else?
I have one more question. We always talk about recruiting wins when you pick up a nice commitment, but then when you recruit your locker room, when you get Ryan Stevens back, how much of a win was that for you when you look at a long-term picture?
Yeah, modern day college football starts with your own roster. If you can win by retaining your own roster nowadays, especially when you have good young players like this team does, that's a huge victory. So that's the most important recruiting win we had, is getting our guys back. And then bringing in new talent and young guys to develop is really important. But nothing was more important to our group on the offensive line than bringing back the guys that played for us a year ago.
And as far as with Brian specifically, though, he was a guy that I believe didn't play center at all in the college level, and then came in and just kind of absorbed that role and had that responsibility, kind of grew on that role.
Yeah, we pulled him in before the Maryland game and said, hey, I know you've never played center, but we're going to go play on Friday night, national TV. At Maryland, they do a bunch of different things on defense. You're going to play center. And he took a deep breath and then went out and did a really good job and stabilized that position for us for the rest of the year. So him knowing all offseason he's going to play there, him going through training camp there, him thinking about things like a center. He wasn't even here last spring. So really excited for when he's back and healthy, for what he's going to be able to bring to this team as a leader and on the field as a player.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, thanks everybody.
Where do you have Drake then? Right guard to start now?
Yeah, Drake's been playing right guard for us. He's going to kick in and play some center as well. Might flip over to the left. So kind of how we break guys up are inside guys, and all those guys need to know how to snap. We want to have 12 guys that can snap a football here. And then tackles who are, just kind of our edge players like Boley and Jimmy Crist and Blake.
Gotcha. Do you feel like you're deeper than you were last year this time?
Considerably so.
Gotcha. And then last one, how are those young guys, some of those guys in the younger part of their careers developing? Cole Serber, I know you got Grant on campus already.
Yeah.
How are some of those young guys doing behind the scenes? Houston Curry.
Good. I think that the key is keep showing up, right? You're going to have, as a young lineman, you're going to have some really hard days and you're going to get your butt kicked. And that just happens. How you respond to that, if you keep showing up and keep working and keep getting better and don't get discouraged, the spring's going to, and I told him this today, the spring's going to end and it's like you're emerging from your chrysalis. you're the young O-lineman butterfly, which I don't know what that would look like. You guys can all picture that. You're creative, but that's a part of the process. That struggle is essential to the growth of a young offensive lineman. There's no stepping around it. And those guys, hey, they're in it right now. Things are moving fast. Guys are pretty big. They're pretty strong. And struggle is, that's going to happen. How you respond to it is what's going to lead you to success down the road.